Wait, there's something very weak coming through.
Hello, fellow Star Wars fans, friends, fanatics, all the above. Just wondering how much you guys watch the show Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. There are a ton of Star Wars references, and I know they're not the only show and movie that ever had it. The best one is from this season when the characters Fitz and Lance are talking. Fitz is getting ready to go into a hibernation chamber for 90 years or so, and Lance looks at him and says, "I love you," and Fitz says, "I know." It's classic. It's awesome. Just throwing it at you. Give you guys something to talk about, possibly here in the near future. Love the podcast. Keep it coming. May the Force be with you.
A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away.
Hello, fellow Galactic listeners. I'm Aaron Julian, and this is WSTR Galactic Public Access, a Star Wars podcast. Welcome to episode 64. Today, we are going to be ranking the Star Wars films and taking a retrospective look back. Joining me in the discussion today is one of my good friends, Mr. Stephen Whipple.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Aaron.
Glad to have you here.
Yeah, glad to be here.
And he brought along a friend, Mr. Solomon. How's it going?
Hey, going well. Thank you. It's good to be here as well.
Excellent. Check us out on social media, WSTR Media, all one word, all lowercase. You can email us at wstrpodcast@gmail.com. Leave us a voicemail at 630-557-WSTR. That's 630-557-9787. You can catch our entire back catalog of episodes at wstrmedia.libsyn.com. That's wstrmedia.libsyn.com. Before we move on to our main topic, let's introduce our guests here. So, Stephen, how are you doing today?
I'm doing very well, sir. Thank you.
Doing good,
Yeah.
Looking good, feeling
Thank
good?
you. Yeah. How are you doing
Excellent.
today?
Just the same.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So, tell us a little about yourself and how you got into Star Wars.
Shoot. All right. So, I guess it goes back to my early days as a youth. I was probably, like 6 or 7 when Phantom Menace came out. Got introduced to the older, like the first 3. Before that, though, immediately enjoyed Star Wars.
So you started with the prequels.
Yes.
That must have been weird.
Yeah.
When did you watch the original trilogy?
I don't know. I guess I'd probably have been 5, 6, 7, like those years, right around then.
Okay, so you saw Phantom Menace first, and then you're like, "There's got to be more," and your parents are like,
"Oh
here.
no, I didn't watch the Phantom Menace first. I watched the original. Yeah, the original.
You watched the originals first.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Before Phantom Menace came out.
Before Phantom Menace.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, was your parents that introduced you to it?
Yes.
Okay.
So my dad was a big Star Wars fan also.
Okay.
When he was young, he saw that. I remember him telling me stories of when he saw A New Hope.
Yeah.
In theaters when he was probably about 10 or 11 years old.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So it meant a lot to him, and then when he caught wind that there's going to be a new Star Wars out, he was like, "All right, son.
Yeah.
It's time to be a man.
You need to be educated."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Do you remember seeing The Phantom Menace for the first time?
I do. Let's see. That came
I guess
out
we'll
in
be getting
1999, so I would have been 7 then.
Yeah. So I guess we'll be getting into this later, but
Yeah.
Do you have any vague recollections of what you thought at the time?
I mean, I just thought that it was just so imaginative, I guess. I was enthralled with all like the sci-fi, with the lightsabers and with the Jedi and the Force.
Kind of the
just
spectacle
overall,
of it all.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
And that carried over to episodes 2 and 3?
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you, I guess we'll get into this later, but just generally, what do you think of the prequels now that time has passed and you've been able to look back onto it?
The ones that have come out most recently, or the ones that have come out after like the initial 3? The
prequels, Phantom Menace,
okay,
Attack of the Clones, and Revenge of the Sith.
I mean, I still really enjoy them.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people that just absolutely hate them.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see where you rank them later on. And what do you think of the most recent batch of films?
I mean, I know I've heard obviously that plenty of people hate them also. Like the stories, I really enjoy them. I don't see any reason to hate them, just because Disney has taken over Lucasfilm.
You're fully on board.
Yeah. I think
Okay.
as I think a good fan should be.
Excellent. All right. Thank you, Stephen.
Yeah.
Solomon,
Yeah. What's up?
how you doing today?
Hanging in.
Hanging in?
Yeah, doing quite well.
Hanging out with us?
Glad to be here.
Awesome. So, I guess the same questions for you. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into Star Wars.
Yeah, you got it. So I grew up in a very rural setting, overseas, really small village. And my family had movie night every other Friday if there was enough sun for us to have solar power to charge one of the laptops.
Really?
So we had 17 movies available. Of those 17, all 6 of the Star Wars were in the collection.
Okay.
So
Wow.
us kids
So like 30% of all your entire film knowledge was Star Wars.
Exactly. But us kids would always have to decide on movie night. We had to come to a collective decision. And my middle sister would always vote for Star Wars Episode 4. Didn't matter, of the 17, it was Episode 4.
Yeah.
And my eldest sister and I, we would always lose. So we watched Episode 4 over and over and over. I could probably quote it all the way through.
Wow.
And that's pretty much the extent of my Star Wars knowledge. But if you have any Episode 4 question, I got you.
So, where was this village, by the way?
Yeah, in Papua New Guinea, in the Finisterre mountain range.
Okay. Were you a missionary kid?
Mm-hmm,
Awesome. So yeah, 30% of all your movies were Star Wars. When did you see, or did you see the prequels at all, or the latest batch of movies?
I did at a much later time, yeah. Eventually we got around to them.
Okay. General impressions of those?
There seemed to be a pretty big disconnect between the original trilogy and then the later ones.
Yeah.
But I think they were overall decently well done.
Okay. So have you seen the latest ones like Rogue One, Last Jedi, Force Awakens?
I've seen The Force Awakens and Last Jedi. Rogue One, I've watched 3 times and fallen asleep halfway through all 3 times.
Oh no! So I guess that's your review of it. Okay. Will you ever make it through one of these days?
I hope to. The suspense, it's still there, man.
Yeah.
Still don't know what's going to happen.
It's good.
All right.
You gotta
get around to it.
Maybe start halfway through. So hopefully you can make it before the end.
Fall asleep at the end, but at least we'll have finished.
Pick up where you've left off.
And credits, you fall asleep.
Perfect. Hey, that's ideal, man.
Awesome. So yeah, I guess. So are you looking forward to Solo at all, or the rumored Ben Kenobi movie?
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Well, that is Stephen for you and Solomon for you, and now we're going to get into our main topic.
And now for our feature presentation.
Okay, so with all this noise of The Last Jedi, people are saying it's the best Star Wars that ever was. Others are saying Star Wars has died and Disney has killed them off. Let's take a little retrospective look back at all the movies and see what's the ranking now. For a while, it was only 6 movies, and it was kind of easy to do. You stack up 6 movies. What's your favorite, least favorite, that sort of thing. But now we've got 9 movies to stack up. That's a lot. And with something as divisive as The Last Jedi, that is no easy feat. So, overall impression for myself and you gentlemen, where do you rate all the 9 films? I guess maybe an easier way to start would just be, let's start with 9, the worst film that out of all of them, or the one you appreciate the least if you don't hate it, and we'll just start working our way up to number 1. Sound good?
Let's do it.
All right. So let's start with number 9. What is the worst or least appreciable movie out of all the Star Wars films? I'll go first. I will say The Phantom Menace is probably my least favorite.
Dang, that's rough.
Yeah, I mean...
Why is that?
Okay, so at the time, the visual effects were pretty good. Particularly having a CG completely CG character throughout the entire movie. That was not really done before. I mean, just a few short years earlier, you had Jurassic Park, which just blew everybody's minds, and the special effects are still pretty good for this day, but you don't have a CG character throughout the whole thing. They're kind of an accessory to the movie, whereas with The Phantom Menace, you got CG character Jar Jar throughout the whole thing, and much more CG besides. I don't think it holds up now. I rewatched it recently with my brother, and it's pretty bad.
Really? Do you get any sort of like nostalgia when you watch it? And
only a little bit.
Yeah.
I will say this: the thing I appreciate about the prequels the most was that it did, in my opinion, much better job of world building and creating like it really makes you think there's this huge galaxy out there. Filled with different civilizations and people groups and everything. And because of that, it's much more a world that I want to step into and be a part of than I don't think, and it is the same world as the original trilogy, but it's because of the limits of technology back then, they could only make their stories so big, and it's pretty tough to tell the kind of world building story that the prequels were able to do. However, I think the dialogue in Phantom Menace is among the worst George Lucas has ever written, which is saying something. I mean, he outdid himself in a few instances in Attack of the Clones, which we'll get to. But if you were to sit me down and be like, okay, which Star Wars movie do you want to watch? Phantom Menace would be at the bottom of the list. I'm not too keen on watching it again. There's a couple redeeming factors to it. There's the Darth Maul fight, which is fantastic. And put it in perspective, you had 20 years where Return of the Jedi was the most complicated lightsaber fights we had ever seen. And they still weren't like jaw-dropping amazing. It was mostly about the emotional conflict between the characters. But for Darth Maul, first of all, it's like double-sided lightsabers. It's like even if you were like 40 years old at the time, like you had like a little kid inside you that was like, whoa! Yeah. So double-sided lightsabers, a fight between three people, highly choreographed, highly, I guess, processed stunts or
soundtrack.
Yes, dude. I don't know if The Matrix came out if it was out by then. Before, I know it's the same year, 1999. I don't know if it's before or after, if they had any like test footage out there, but I know that certainly had a huge effect on how action movies were done post The Matrix. But I definitely think that, along with Phantom Menace, kicked off this trend of highly choreographed stunts and like really flashy style, and that's super awesome. But it's like you have a couple of high points in the movie. Maybe the beginning battle with the Trade Federation, maybe the pod race, maybe the Darth Maul battle. But apart from that, there's just a lot of poor dialogue and characters I don't really care about, and it's the least enjoyable for me to watch. So that's my choice for number 9.
Come on, man. You're telling me you didn't ever throw some khaki pants on your head and pretend you were Jar Jar Binks? That was my childhood.
Oh, my goodness. I don't even want to do his voice because it's so... Ugh. But no, I did not consider him a role model for my make-believe play.
Oh, man. That's where we differ.
Yeah, I guess so. So, Steven, where would you place what's your number 9 pick?
Shoot. This is not easy for me because I sincerely really do, enjoy them so much, enjoy them all. But I guess if I was going to pick one to, I guess, like watch last, oh man, very possibly, I guess it would probably be between The Force Awakens and Rogue One.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. So
yeah,
of the new breed, you would pick from there.
Yeah.
Why is that?
I guess because I find like what now we, consider like the original 6 to be so endearing. and that I have so much nostalgia, from my childhood.
Yeah.
And when I think about them, even with as corny as the the first one was, well, I guess the fourth one was Phantom Menace. But yeah, I guess I felt like the character development and like plot development was strange. Well, I think that those two.
Yeah. Okay, so so the original movies kind of tap into some childhood virtue that you really enjoy, whereas the new batch of movies don't really do that.
Yeah, it. I guess I was a kid that played outside with the plastic lightsabers.
Oh yeah,
and had my younger sister throw rocks at me just to like practice my saber wielding skills. We had a trampoline, and so we would pull it over to the swing set. This is not recommended for today, but whatever. Your kid's got to take some risks. Climb on top of the swing set and do a flip onto the trampoline, and then we'd have a trampoline fight with lightsabers. Naturally. Yeah. I mean, kids do some stupid stuff, but absolutely. You got to let them.
We had something like that for me as well. We had an in-ground trampoline. And for
in-ground trampoline.
Yeah, my dad and I took a summer in Arizona, dug it out, 117 degrees, 4 or 5 hours a day.
Jeez,
took almost the whole summer. It was, it was male bonding. And so we had this in-ground trampoline. And then right next to it, we had another trampoline because the in-ground had started to get old and we were trying to replace it. So for a while, we had a new one next to it. And we quickly realized you could jump off of the roof onto the first and then onto the second. But the big discovery was finding you could actually do it in reverse. You could get enough bounce to go from the ground to the one that was, I don't know, maybe 3-4 feet up to the roof. So quickly, a couple friends and I grabbed lightsabers and we had a 3-stage battle going on, just jumping between these, hitting each other. Oh, it was glorious.
Oh, man, you should have done that for a fan film or something. That's awesome. We had the above ground one, and we grew up in Illinois, so we had grass naturally, and so we had to move it every couple of days so there wouldn't be like a bunch of dead grass or a bunch of weeds growing up there. And that was just a pain in the butt until we got rid of it. But we have to move it, and then if you mow the grass, you got to move it halfway through. And
those are some weight on them, especially when you're a kid. Got to throw your back into that.
Yeah, they're heavy, but it had to be done.
Do what you got to do.
Yeah. So I guess definitively, Force Awakens or Rogue One for your least. Let's watch this.
I've got to pick between the two.
Yeah. You can just pick one of them for number 8.
Yeah. Let's see. I might have to go with Rogue One.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bummer, dude.
Yeah.
A lot of people really like that one.
Yeah. No, and it sucks. Because I sincerely do too.
Okay.
But having to pick between the two, I don't like to do it. That hurt me right there.
You just picked your least favorite kid.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Solomon, let's hear it.
For me, it would probably have to be Episode 2, Attack of the Clones.
Really?
Solely for the reason of just so many people have torn this apart, but just the forced romance.
Yeah.
Oh, man. With the one-liners from Anakin. Oh, everything about that was just painful to see.
Sand.
Probably painful for them to act in.
It's coarse and rough. It gets everywhere. Not like you. Oh, come on, dude.
Oh, man. Yeah. For that reason alone, that would put it at the least enjoyable for me. Top of the list.
So Battle of Geonosis, Yoda and friends swooping in on attack helicopters, rescuing the crew, all that. That doesn't make up for
me.
All the whole clone army.
Oh, man. Well executed. I mean, you've got this great plot going on. We've got Obi-Wan searching out and the correspondence with Yoda, and then you cut away from that and you've got Anakin somewhere just delivering those painful, kind of creepy one-liners. It's a no from me.
So the Count Dooku Yoda fight that does not cancel out Anakin surfing on a buffalo.
You know what? It does add some value for it, but it can't restore it for me. Can't redeem it.
Okay, interesting. I don't think I've met someone yet who would place Attack of the Clones underneath Phantom Menace.
Really?
But that's very interesting. So it's really the dialogue that gets you.
You know what? This is unpopular, but I am a small fan of Jar Jar just because of the kind of similar to Steven, just that childhood. I mean, I'm not kidding when I talk about the khaki pants, man. That was growing up, just throwing khaki pants in my head, chasing my sisters around the kitchen, doing the Jar Jar voice. So there's some nostalgia there for me.
That's very interesting.
And I mean, I was young enough to where I'm not looking at, in-depth plots or really looking at like the cinematographical value of it or anything like that.
Yeah. And I guess Jar Jar really was added for the kids, as they say. So, very interesting.
Do you think he was added to sort of counterbalance the new, I feel like the level of just like sadistic kind of evil that came through from Maul? That wasn't necessarily
maybe.
Like, that wasn't, you didn't necessarily see that in Vader.
Yeah.
Like the original 3. You didn't even see it from like Palpatine. That dude
I
just
suppose so. I don't know if I want to give George Lucas that much credit.
Yeah.
But there is a certain circular effect to the movies where stuff we see in 4, 5, and 6 is then reflected in 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
And you do have the comic relief with C-3PO and R2
definitely
in 4, 5, and 6, but get to 1, 2, and 3, they're not really that present. And I think Jar Jar was going to be the substitute for that.
Sure.
But boy, did they lay it on thick.
Yeah, it was rugged.
It was not in any way subtle.
No, not at all. So, all right, let's move on to number 8. So for me, the second least watchable, or the second most hated, depending on your point of view, I would probably put Attack of the Clones.
Yeah.
Probably for the same reasons, for the dialogue. There's a lot of cool stuff in that movie. As far as I really like the Obi-Wan subplot, where it's kind of like almost like a detective story.
Yeah.
Where, I mean, it's not the first time we see Coruscant, but it's the first time we kind of see like the seedy underbelly, and they're staving off the attack on the princess and or senator, well, what is she? Queen, senator, whatever.
Yeah.
Amidala. She's stave off the attack from her, and then they're chasing this criminal through the underworld, and then Jango Fett, right before they can talk, takes him out. And then Obi-Wan goes on this whole quest to discover like what's up, finds out this entire clone army they didn't know they existed, then the whole encounter with Count Dooku, and then it all wrapped together with Anakin and Padme, and then the Jedi and clone army coming in. And I thought that was just super cool. It's not the most complicated plot thread out there, but it really worked for me. However, I felt like there's a bit of a case of planet hopping. Not as bad as some of the newer movies, but where like it doesn't feel like you really sit and stay in one location for too long before you're just moving on to another one, which I get. They got a bunch of CG, but I really feel like that could have been developed a bit more. And yeah, it's the dialogue. Yeah, such a drain, dude.
I do feel that the planet hopping was a lot of Lucas just kind of flexing on what he could do at that point.
Oh yeah.
Then he made up for it with the dialogue.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Yeah, no bueno. So that's where I'd put Attack of the Clones, number 8. Steven.
Shoot.
Let's hear it.
I might have to, let's see, number 8. I might have to throw down, throw down the clones there too.
Oh man, I can tell this is hurting you.
Yeah,
it's the look on your face.
Now, I'm sincerely
Steven's choice,
because I'm thinking about now we've got like seven more slots. Now I got to like be more intent about this.
Yeah.
Yeah. As much as like, and I consider myself like just a goony romantic, and so I didn't necessarily mind. Like I thought that was an interesting development. Obviously, like they made it really explicit.
Yeah.
In the first movie, you knew that there was going to be some sort of a relationship between Anakin and Padme.
Yeah.
You're an angel.
Yeah. The little necklace he gives her.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I really did like that movie too. I liked like you said, the detective storyline, the side storyline of Kenobi, investigating the clone army and such. What else? What did I really like? What were some of your favorite scenes
from Attack of the Clones?
Yeah.
Not a scene per se, but those really long-necked aliens on Camino. I thought their design is just super cool.
Yeah.
And the CG they used to make them come to life, really well done.
Okay.
And just like the fact that there's something called the eye line, where in visual effects, it's where the actor is looking. It's supposed to line up with where the digital character is supposed to be.
Yep.
And they got it right with Obi-Wan and I don't even know what race they are. The Kaminoans?
Okay.
Whatever.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
What about you, Solomon?
I would have to say the Yoda fight scene. That was just well done.
Oh, yeah.
It was a good climax for the movie just to get to that point and to see it executed so well. That did redeem a lot of it for me.
I actually think it's kind of bogus. Just
Really?
because, well, we have, 4, 5, and 6, you got, look, and even Phantom Menace for that matter, you got little puppet Yoda. And they're totally flexing with CG as far as creating a fight with him where he's flipping around all over the place. But I just thought that was too out of character for what I expected Yoda to be, at least.
Yeah.
I thought, he's kind of like this sage grandmaster. And I wanted him to like fight with the Force. Like, and I know they had that at the beginning where they're tossing around objects, but if there's something else he could do with the Force, something a bit more imaginative, I really would have rather seen that
instead of just this youthful hop that just comes out of nowhere.
Yeah, to push back on that a little though, I think that was kind of the point, was the surprise of, you have the Force battle, but then all of a sudden, how does he fight?
Yeah.
He brings about this new energy within him,
He's
and that's
mad,
almost
man.
a testament to the Force in that sense of what he's able to do with his body. But I would ask, like, what saber fighting style would you want to see out of him after, once it goes towards the lightsabers? What would you want to see from him in that battle?
I guess you can't really have anything else besides that for a guy his size. Just because he's got no reach. So he's got to make up for that with just moving all over the place.
Yeah.
Where he would reach if he was adult size, or human size, I should say. So I guess it's necessary. I still think it's kind of ridiculous.
Sure.
And it kind of ridiculous and cheesy, and it kind of is. And a little bit of that's fine. You could spread some cheese on your taco. It's perfectly fine.
Sprinkle a little on there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sure. I think one of my favorite scenes from that movie was the bounty hunter chase.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Anakin initially. Yeah. And then followed up by Obi-Wan. Yeah. Just cruising through the traffic, the sky traffic.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great scene.
Yeah.
I will say this. Attack of the Clones has my favorite sound effect of all Star Wars.
Okay. What was that?
And it's that... it's like that depth charge bomb that Jango Fett drops out the back of his ship.
Yes.
When Obi-Wan's chasing him when he's chasing Obi-Wan in the asteroid field. There's like that moment of silence, and there's like, it's like, blow me away. Yeah. So that's super awesome.
Yeah.
But
That's
I guess
pretty
it
satisfying.
I guess it comes back to, I don't necessarily hate it, but the same way that I hate Phantom Menace, but it's just, I want to watch it.
Or you just prefer to watch others before it?
Yeah.
Above it? Yeah.
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 Okay. Did everyone say their piece?
No, I have not yet.
Yes.
So
Solomon.
the eighth one, this one's hard, and this hurts, but I would have to say that, man, episode 1, that, and that hurts to say, that hurts a lot.
Yeah.
But the reasoning behind it is as much as I enjoyed it as a kid, like I thought the fight scenes were great. Everything about that movie I loved. The politics were a little monotonous for me, but they went through quick enough.
C-SPAN in space.
But when I look back at them now and just like, I'm sitting down, if I want to watch a Star Wars movie, which one do I pick out? I never gravitate to that one. Just, there is some of that nostalgia, but there's just too much. It's painful to watch at this point, honestly.
Yeah. So that's the kind of part of your plate you don't eat. kind of slip to the dog under the table.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, that's a good metaphor for it, so.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Number 7. Let's get right into it. Let's see. For me, it's tough. It's a toss-up, I think, between Revenge of the Sith and Return of the Jedi. I'll probably put Return of the Jedi there. Just because I think Revenge of the Sith is slightly better. But yeah, Return of the Jedi, the first maybe 30 minutes or so when they're rescuing Han from Jabba's palace, there's moments in there where it's great, but I feel like it's too long to get going for what an epic movie this is supposed to be. And as we covered, I think it was last week on our show, there's quite a few holes in the plot as far as what was Luke's plan to get him out. What exactly did he have in mind, and why Princess Leia and Chewbacca were there, and what was supposed to happen. So we don't know that, but if you want to hear us blab about it for an hour, go check out episode 63. But I mean, later, I do appreciate the kind of romance that Han and Leia develop, and we learn a bit more about the Force, and we see Luke's story kind of come to a close, at least for now. And I really appreciate that. I think some of the space battles at the end are some of the best in the series.
Yeah.
But I just feel like the pacing doesn't really cut it for me. The whole Ewok thing. No. You're trying to sell us teddy bears. So, and the whole idea of them coming together to defeat some stormtroopers in armor with sticks and stones, I don't buy it. So
it's wishful thinking.
Yeah. So for me, there's too many plot holes, and the pacing is weird. So that's probably where I'd put Return of the Jedi. So, thoughts on that?
Nah, I actually have nothing to add to that.
Okay. Steven, you're number 7.
Yeah, it's only getting more difficult.
Oh, man.
Yeah. I feel like I'm just like echoing at this point. Yeah, I don't know. This is difficult.
Oh, man.
This is the first time I've ever thought about this.
Really?
Yeah. I've never ranked the Star Wars movies in my mind before.
Well, maybe it's good that you're thinking about it now. No, it is good because I'm remembering things that I liked about the other movies that I don't really account for when I'm just doing a general like, oh, do I like this movie or not? No, it sucks. Yeah. But it's like, no, they all have really good parts in them. But we're talking about the movie as a whole.
Sure. And it doesn't help just being one of the most indecisive people that you'll ever meet in your life. Man. So
Solomon, you got an answer for number 7?
Yeah, definitely. The reason I didn't disagree with your choice was because mine's the exact same. Just Return of the Jedi would take 7 for me. Pretty much the same reasons. The Wookiee battle was just, man, didn't do it for me. Not at all.
Yeah. You didn't like the hang gliding Ewok dropping rocks?
As tempting as that sounds, man.
Yeah.
I think also, the pacing of it just seemed a little off to me. This starting off in the way that it did with a lot of just that awkward timing. It started off slow and then it jumped very quickly and then went back to slow, and then it didn't feel well put together from a pacing standpoint in my eyes.
Yeah. Another thing I didn't think about was the tone. Is that you kind of have the culmination of Luke's story coming to an end. It's supposed to be this huge epic thing. Like he's finally going to fight Darth Vader after his training is complete, and we get a showdown with the Emperor as well. And then you have Han running around doing a major look thing on the scout trooper and leading him around the corner only to be ambushed. And it's like, then, the whole Ewok thing. So it's just like really inconsistent. It's like cookie dough that hasn't really been mixed together that well. So you get a cookie that's like all vanilla when there's supposed to be chocolate chips in there.
Man, Aaron with the metaphors.
This is how I think, dude.
Yeah. Even just the kind of the contrast. You know, we talked about episode 1 and you've got Jar Jar Binks kind of thrown in for some relief.
Yeah.
Albeit done badly, but thrown in nonetheless. But you've got the Ewoks presumably for some sort of, not necessarily comic relief, but some lightheartedness.
Yeah.
But then you start off with this intense, you know, you've got sneaking into the frozen Han and working with that. It seemed like a very, what's the word I would use? A very strange culmination.
Yeah.
Of a lot of eerie and then lighthearted, just trying to be mashed together, you know, to use your cookie example.
Yeah.
Just throwing it all in there and trying to make it stick, and it's like oil and water. It doesn't really stick together well.
It should have done one or the other.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is tough to get that balance. But yeah, it's no Empire Strikes Back, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Steven, made up your mind?
I mean, I might just have to echo
Okay.
that same vote. I can't think of a better anything else that, you know, fit into that slot.
Well, it's weird that that's where we all agree.
Yeah.
Coincide right there. That's cool.
It'd be interesting to see if we agree later on.
Yeah.
Number 6.
is you.
Yeah. Well, I already kind of gave it away, but Revenge of the Sith. That's where I'd put number 6. Slightly more watchable, just because I feel like it's definitely tonally consistent throughout. Pretty dark for a Star Wars movie. AKA dead kids. So
yeah, sad. Just sad.
Yeah. The whole the whole Order 66 segment, super emotionally resonant. Like I still feel something to this day when I watch it. I'm like, oh, all my favorite people dying.
Yeah.
I feel like it pulled that off really well. The opening space battle, one of the coolest, coolest space battles in film history. That's for sure. I don't like the banter between Obi-Wan and Anakin in this movie. It just feels weird. Particularly a bunch of Obi-Wan's lines. I don't know if it's the delivery or the actual lines themselves, but it feels like a joke you're supposed to laugh at, but it's not really that funny. So I was like, But some of the best CG work in any of the Star Wars movies, at least for the prequels, it's certainly the best.
Yeah.
But again, it comes back to the dialogue. Some of it's just pretty bad. I do feel like the Anakin Padme relationship is probably the best in this movie. As far as the drama and seeing finally the fall of Anakin like fully into the dark side, it's still compelling to this day. I really enjoy it, but which is why it gets over Return of the Jedi. But I still would place. Well, we'll talk about the rest of the movies after that above it, but that's probably where I'd put it. Yeah. How about you two fellas?
Yeah, it was a really emotional flick, that one. Yeah, do you got any thoughts? Solomon? No. Yeah, I remember. I think, my mom was even worried just because of.
It's PG-13.
Yeah. I mean, that was brutal. The whole Order 66 and how just like emotionally, like draining and overwhelming. You know, that whole.
It doesn't let up.
Portion of this movie. No,
there's like no comic relief.
No, it just gets more and more dark and more depressing.
Yeah. You know, I same boat as you, Steven. My parents didn't let me watch it till I was 12 or 13 as well. So I'd seen the other 5 and hadn't seen that one at that point. For me, I'm going to put it higher on the list. I'm not sure where yet, but one of my big frustrations with the ones that I've already mentioned is the fact that there was this awkward tension, this unbalance of comedy and darkness, of, you know, sinister and some humor mixed in that just wasn't done well.
Yeah.
And so for this episode, just, you know, they dropped a lot of the humor and even the the banter seemed like foreshadowing in the sense of their relationship already, going where it was going.
I'll give you that. It's almost like when you know you're going to break up with someone, but you haven't told them yet, and you still got like a date or two.
Yeah. Palpable. Oh man.
Yeah. You know what? I'm revising my answer. I'm going to put Force Awakens as my number 6.
Really?
Yeah. I feel like Revenge of the Sith is stronger now that we're discussing it. As far as just emotional impact. I guess Force Awakens, there's not a lot of problems with it, but enough to know as far as Rey being a Mary Sue character, just not having enough flaws, or really not really being interesting. I really like the intrigue with Snoke. As far as a long-awaited sequel to Star Wars under new management with a new director, I feel like it really could have been absolutely disastrous to pull something like that off, but they managed to do it without completely demolishing everything, which I feel is like props to them.
Yeah.
However, they did it by copying a lot of the plot from episode 4, which if you're going to do a reboot of sorts, then I guess that's the way to go. But
and I guess they can get away with that now too, just with the whole new generation that they're showing that to and selling it to.
It's not invalid.
Yeah,
I mean, between 2006 and when was it, 2014, when that came out, it's like that's a long enough time for a new batch of kids to come in and be ready to see it. So
yeah,
I don't fault them for it, but I'd place it under Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, they had to walk such a fine line of connecting with the old movies. It couldn't be too far off in the distance, or it just wouldn't feel like a part of the same universe even.
Yeah.
But they couldn't stay there. They had to take it somewhere, and they definitely erred on the side of repeating what had already happened with even just that repeat of episode 4 that we seem to see. And if anything, they did stray towards that end of it a little more than I think a lot of fans would have liked to have seen.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Steven, for you?
Want us to come back to you?
I mean, you might have to. Yeah, go ahead, Solomon, if you have any thoughts.
I was still chewing on it as well.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So
now we're getting to a tough part.
Yeah, not nearly as easy now.
We all know what we don't like, but ranking what we do like could be pretty tricky.
Yeah. I would say, let me start from the top. So worst for me was episode 2, and then we went to episode 1, and then episode... What was the one I agreed with you on, Aaron? Was that 5 or 6 for 7th place?
That was number 6.
6?
Okay. Yeah.
I would go ahead and throw episode 5 in for 6th place here. Just
okay.
Yeah, as I just think back through the plot, and especially what brings it down for me is the time that Luke spent with Yoda. I didn't like the way that was handled. It had a lot of potential, I think, and we even kind of see a reboot of that in a lot of senses with the new movie, but with The Last Jedi. But just, yeah, the way it was handled, even just like the whole underground run into with his dad, the foreshadowing there of that. I didn't enjoy it at all. I wouldn't want to watch it again. It would be pretty high on my list.
You would not watch The Last Jedi again?
No. I'm talking about episode 5.
Okay.
Yeah. I was just talking about the
Empire
tie-in.
Strikes Back.
Yeah, I'm just talking about the tie-in of, the Jedi going and spending time with the mentor. Kind of that tie-in.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So I'm
hearing you right. You're Empire Strikes Back, episode 5. Would not watch again.
So how I'm rating it right now is in order of which one I would want to go watch like right now in this moment, and I can fix that if that's not so much what you're looking for, but just overall enjoyment.
I'm just asking because you realize a lot of people that's their favorite Star Wars.
Sure.
Yeah, off in there too.
Yeah, because I'm not a diehard fan, I guess I would just plea to those who are about to kill me for this. Just personal.
No, that's a valid viewpoint to have. I'm just, are you sure?
You know what? Yeah, definitely. Dangerous move, but just,
yeah,
didn't enjoy it a whole lot.
Okay, fair enough. Steven?
I think I'd have to throw in The Force Awakens just because I'm not ready to give up the original 3 yet.
Okay.
Yeah, those are still holding high.
All right.
Yeah, high esteem.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Any particular reason why?
Why they're holding high esteem, or why Force Awakens?
Why Force Awakens?
Just because it doesn't have the level of endearment, to me as those first ones I remember watching.
Okay.
I'm definitely just hung up on my nostalgia.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay. We are running out of time, so let's skip right along. Number 5, I already talked about it, but I'd put Revenge of the Sith there.
Just gonna do like rifle round.
Yeah, let's rapid fire.
Okay.
Cool.
For the reasons already explained, Revenge of the Sith. Solomon.
Yeah, for me, I just realized because I haven't even seen Rogue One, I'm just going to go ahead and throw that at the very top of the list. Just put that at 9.
Okay.
Not because I think it's bad per se, but just, I can't really give an educated opinion on something I haven't seen.
Fair
so
enough.
Just bumping everything down 1 then.
Yeah, for those keeping track at home.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Steven.
Oh, man. Let's see. Have to be going with... Can't give up Last Jedi. Let's see. I'd say A New Hope. Phantom Menace.
Okay.
Yep.
Any particular reason why?
Not necessarily.
Man, I
just trying to rifle these off quickly. Yeah. And not think too much about them.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to modify my list just a little bit. I'm swapping Revenge of the Sith, number 5. I'm bumping it up to number 4, with Rogue One being number 5. So,
Okay.
I like this movie quite a bit. I feel like it too had its own unique challenge in trying to, recall the same kind of nostalgia and feel of A New Hope. But with modern technology and CGI and whatnot, which they relied an awful lot on practical effects, which I really enjoy. And they did things with the plot to recontextualize kind of our understanding of it, and to make it richer, which I feel a good prequel should do. And they explained away is kind of a poor term for it. They came up with a good reason why the Death Star was able to be blown up through a small ventilation shaft by making it an act of sabotage instead of poor design. And so that was a big, I don't know if it's a plot hole, but an annoyance that a lot of people kept calling to attention for quite a while afterwards. And by making an explanation for it that also tied into a character's motivation to take down the Death Star, I thought was pretty brilliant. K2SO as a character is highly enjoyable. And when people talk about CGI for this film, they always go for either the reconstructed Tarkin or reconstructed Princess Leia, both of which I thought were incredible, by the way. Leia more so than Tarkin. Then again, we didn't get to see her very long to critique it, but still, resurrecting someone's not easy. And so
she looked good for a dead woman.
Yeah. Same thing with she wasn't dead at the time, but same thing with Tarkin's actor. But nobody talks about the CG for K2SO. He just feels real, like C-3PO. So I think that's the greatest compliment you can get, is that it doesn't draw attention.
Yeah.
Not to mention the Scarif fight at the end was just awesome. Just excellent work all around. So that's probably why I put Rogue One at number 5, and then I'm still just thinking over that emotional impact of Revenge of the Sith and just what the consistency of tone and like the darkness of it. Really love it. So that's going to be my number 4.
Okay.
But technically we're on number 5. So we good? I'm sorry. I'm having a hard time keeping track of all of this.
I think so. Did we throw in our 5s?
I don't think we have it at this point.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you have yours, Stephen?
Let's see. Number 5. I'm honestly having a difficult time trying to remember exactly what I've thrown down too.
Yeah. You want to restate your order for us?
Sure. Let's see. Yeah, number 1. What did I throw down? Or sorry, number 9. I think I threw down as Rogue One.
Yeah.
Let's see. So 8. What did I go with? Attack of the Clones. Is that right?
I think so.
Okay. After that, was it?
We all agreed on 7 for.
Okay.
Which one did we agree on?
Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Okay. I'd say A New Hope.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty low on the list. A lot of people have that as number 1 or 2.
Yeah. No, I think I'm saving my 1.
We'll get to it.
Yeah. I'll hold off on that.
Solomon?
For me, this one's hard, but I would probably just go ahead and throw The Force Awakens for number 5 for me. It was well done. I think they did a good job with it, but just, kind of as we already mentioned, some of the challenges of trying to create something new while keeping the same universe and trying to balance that, keeping both sides of the argument happy of, we want something totally new, or no, we want it to stay the same.
Yeah.
And I just wish they'd pioneered a little bit more than they did.
Okay. Fair enough. So that leaves us at spot number 4. I've already said my piece, Revenge of the Sith, for the reasons mentioned. Solomon, you got a pick for number 4?
Shoot, can you give me just a minute? Still thinking on that one.
Yeah. How about you, Stephen?
Number 4. I think that's going to be a toss-up between Revenge of the Sith and The Last Jedi.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see. Quick poll.
If your friend was visiting in town and you were going to watch one with him, you can only pick one. Which one would you pick?
I think I would watch. I'd watch The Last Jedi.
Okay.
So I'm going to throw Revenge of the Sith in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
For my
so Revenge of the Sith for number 4?
For 4, excuse me. Yeah.
Okay. So that's 2 points of agreement between us. Well, so far.
Yeah.
Okay. Solomon?
Yeah, I'd have to throw Revenge of the Sith in for number 4.
Okay.
Yeah, just, a lot of the reasons already mentioned, but I do think it was very well done. I did like the darker tone, especially as the transition between the two trilogies, but yeah, I would go ahead and place it at 4th.
Okay. Cool. Number 3. I would probably put Last Jedi in there.
Really?
Yes. And the more time goes on, the more I find I appreciate about it. And I think its strength is in that it's a deconstruction of what Star Wars is, and it flips a lot of our expectations on its head. And it's really hard to watch sometimes. And especially with all the hype leading up to it, and all of our theories and expectations for what was going to happen. I think Rian Johnson's really, really smart in upending those and forcing us to question to ourselves, why do I like Star Wars so much? And what is it about it that I really like? It's because of the power of that I really enjoy it. What I really wonder about it is, there are some parts of it where I feel like the plot is just completely unnecessary, as far as the whole trip off to the casino planet, and then they come back and they're exactly the same in the same predicament.
And then Benicio del Toro just popping up out of nowhere.
Oh yeah,
got ripped to shreds.
I like this character.
Yeah, absolutely.
They needed to use him in a different way.
Yeah. I just immediately think of Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Oh, yeah. So there's that I don't like. So I'm, there's probably going to be a fan edit where it cuts that out. And there's some really stupid character decisions, like Rose rescuing Finn. We don't die for those we love.
Oh, completely pointless.
Yeah, I want her character written out.
Yeah,
but it's
a love triangle again.
Yeah.
Thank you. Divergent, Hunger Games.
But it's still the power of that flipping of expectations and that deconstruction of Star Wars that really gets it for me. And just like the emotional thrill ride. I don't really feel a lot of emotions when I watch movies nowadays, but Last Jedi made me feel something. And it was just like up and down, and it was awesome. And I really appreciate the value of that. Plus, it's one of the best looking Star Wars films out of all of them.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah. So, Solomon, you got one for us for number 3?
I'm actually trying to sort my order out right now. Would you be able to help me with that?
Yeah, sure thing.
Start from the top, Rogue One. And then I said Attack of the Clones.
Yeah.
Then I did Phantom Menace.
Yep.
At that point, Return of the Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
And then I did Empire Strikes Back.
Okay.
Revenge of the Sith.
Yep.
Which leaves me with the 3 now. I have Last Jedi, New Hope, and Force Awakens.
Yeah.
I thought I already talked about The Force Awakens.
Thought you did too.
Yeah.
Okay. Which 3 haven't you talked about yet?
That's what I'm trying to figure out right now. I know I haven't talked about...
Yeah, so Rogue One got bumped to number 9.
I haven't talked about The Last Jedi. Yep. I haven't talked about A New Hope.
Yeah.
Is it possible? I think I got one ahead of you somehow.
Okay. That might be the case. Oh, well.
Yeah, so I put I put The Force Awakens as my 3.
Yep.
So I have 2 and 1 at this point, so I can just go ahead and pause.
Yeah.
I assume we want to reveal the last 2 at once.
Sure.
To get that effect. Go ahead, Steven.
Steven, you sorted it out?
Yeah. So let's see. So I'm just going to run through my list again real quick. Number 9 was Rogue One. 8, Attack of the Clones. 7, Return of the Jedi. 6, Force Awakens. 5, A New Hope. 4, Revenge of the Sith. 3 was Last Jedi. Yeah, so I have my number 1 slot. So just like by default, essentially.
Yeah. All right, let's reveal our number 1s.
Yeah, that's okay. The easiest thing to do.
Absolutely. Okay. So my number 1 is going to be A New Hope. I know a lot of people, Empire Strikes Back is their best, and I will give them, it's perhaps the best sequel that's ever been made for any movie. Just because of, it takes what we loved about Star Wars, it just made it bigger.
Expanded.
And there's so much good character development and arcs, and it's all meaningful. There's no wasted space, no wasted moments either, and it's extremely watchable. Like, I'd be down watching it anytime, any time of the day. However, A New Hope, I feel is just, it's like the core of all of Star Wars, and knowing the story behind its development and how it shouldn't have happened, and yet it did, and the fact that, it's kind of corny by today's standards. The effects are, even on just a limited budget, they were outstanding for the time. They won like all the Oscars, which is like the first sci-fi movie to ever do that. It's culturally and historically significant.
Yeah.
And the story is just like pure and distilled in a way that I feel touches on experiences that everybody can relate to. And it's that that call to adventure, that journey to that fight between good and evil, that whirlwind adventure.
Yeah.
It really touched something deep inside me as a kid, and I'll never forget it. So that's my number 1, followed by number 2, Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah. Man, I had to laugh when you said that. That's my number 1 as well, A New Hope. It just kind of the duality of the nostalgia that I've carried with me, just watching that movie over and over with my sisters, just enjoying it, quoting it, laughing. Every time it was still just as suspenseful. It didn't matter that you knew what was going to happen, because you just got to follow the story and get so immersed that every single bit of suspense you felt every time. And I think the beauty of, that adventure that we're called to, and also the self-discovery that takes place on it. And so that would put Last Jedi at second place for me. Just, a lot of really well done things. I could go on a long list right now that I don't need to, but I would just put A New Hope as just a couple shades above it.
Yeah. Okay. How about you, Steven? What's your number one?
It's going to be The Empire Strikes Back.
Cool.
Yeah. What's interesting too, I just pulled up Wikipedia.
Yeah.
For the film, and the first line says, "The Empire Strikes Back is a 1980 American space opera."
Yeah.
Or excuse me, an epic space opera.
Yeah.
I've never heard it described that way.
Yeah, that's a genre of fiction, I guess, because there's space opera novels too, and
Okay.
if you've ever played the Mass Effect games,
I've not played them, but I know of them.
yeah, that's space opera. So it's a kind of, it's like space fantasy plus like drama, and it's very specific. But Star Wars is certainly that.
Yeah. No. Absolutely. Yeah.
Anything to add?
I mean, I love obviously like Hoth, like being introduced to that planet. I think like Cloud City and Lando Calrissian.
Yeah.
You get more like introduced to Jabba, and obviously like Han Solo's like frozen and such, like carbon frozen.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. That it does hold like a special place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love you.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I don't know how he got away with that, but fabuloso. Okay, I think we're gonna wrap it up there. I'm gonna quickly go through news of the week, and then we'll call it an episode.
Sounds good.
Outstanding.
So here is the news of the week.
And now, the Star Wars News of the Week.
All right, USA Today reports that this is an article from USA Today, how Andy Serkis learned the Supreme Leader Snoke's fate in Star Wars The Last Jedi. Spoilers for The Last Jedi, so if you've not seen it, turn off the podcast right now. Quote, I was taken to my trailer on the lot at Pinewood Studios where I was to read the script for the first time on a tablet. We were never handed printed scripts and had to hand back the tablet as soon as we were done. I was swiping through the story and landed on this epic scene where Snoke is goading Kylo Ren to kill Rey to fulfill his destiny. It was riveting, the tension building with each line. I just couldn't work out where it was heading. And then as I swiped up, there it was, the end. Not for Rey, not for Kylo Ren, but for the Supreme Leader, just gone. I walked out of the trailer in a state of semi-shock, feeling the weight of knowing I would have to mask a great secret for a very, very long time, and that my brother, a massive Star Wars fan, was going to be heartbroken. End quote. That's Andy Serkis. I love what Ryan did, says Serkis, who notes that audiences have been as surprised as he was. I thought it was a brilliant scene. Thoughts on that? Stephen and Solomon?
Yeah.
You know, I'm just thinking about the shock that I had sitting in the theater, all of a sudden the dramatic twist. And I can't imagine acting that out, getting ready to portray, picking up that iPod and just looking through the tablet and just realizing, oh my goodness, this is what's about to happen. And then the added stress of trying to keep that a secret for quite some time.
I yelled when I saw it in the theater. I was like, what? And I was just like jaw open for the next 5 minutes. I was like,
oh, that fight scene immediately after.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. But I'm like, the madmen, they did it.
Pulled it off.
Yeah. So, next news item. The Detroit Museum is to host a traveling Star Wars costume exhibit. The Detroit Institute of Arts is preparing to host a traveling exhibition of Star Wars costumes that explores the artistry behind their creation. Star Wars and the Power of Costume features more than 60 costumes, including Darth Vader, Chewbacca, droids, and others. It's scheduled to run May 20th to September 30th. More than 150 pieces and sketches documenting the creative process are also part of the display. The museum's director, Salvador Salort Pons, says in a statement that the exhibition allows visitors to explore the creative processes behind the art of costume design. The costumes on display are from the first 7 Star Wars movies. Video showing designers and actors are also part of the exhibit, which was developed by the Smithsonian Institution Traveling Exhibition Service. Wow, how'd you like to work for them? In partnership with the Lucas Museum of Narrative Art. 2 organizations I never thought I'd want to apply for, but that seems really, really cool. So if you're going to be in Detroit between May 20th and September 30th, I just gave you a date idea.
Yeah.
There you go. Tickets for 2.
Yeah, a little road trip. Maybe after we get out of school.
Yeah, a little road trip. All right. And this comes from, I think Todd meant to type PC Gamer, not PC Game N. But there's a Zork reference in The Last Jedi because Rian Johnson is a huge nerd. Star Wars has been inspiring video games for nearly as long as video games have existed. From the earliest vector-drawn Empire Strikes Back arcade cabinets to the heroes of Battlefront 2. But director Rian Johnson revealed on the latest film's commentary track that he's taken inspiration from video games and even slipped a souvenir from the Infocom classic Zork into The Last Jedi. So Last Jedi comes out on Blu-ray next week. And this group called Film School Rejects has listened to the director's commentary track on it. There's a couple of interesting facts, like Laura Dern's character. She says pew pew whenever she fires a blaster, which she couldn't break the habit. So it's in there in the movie. Just watch her whenever she shoots a blaster. She'll be saying pew.
Keep an eye out for that.
Yes. However, Johnson says he placed a coin that came with the Zork trilogy in one of the movie's casino scenes. So if I don't know if you guys played Zork or heard of it, but it's one of the early video games out there. Is a text-based adventure game where you'd actually type in commands of what you want to do, like go in the room, look around the room, pick up the thing, and it would just have like little text characters to represent the rooms that you were in, your character, etc. Very, very primitive, but mind-blowing for the time.
Sure.
So Rian Johnson, being the nerd that he is, slipped a little reference in there. Just kind of a little tip of the hat.
That's very cool.
Yeah, so when Infocom released the Zork trilogy in 1987, they had a special little copper Zork mid coin to include with each box copy as a collector's item. And I guess he put his in there. So keep an eye out. It's one of the coins in Benicio del Toro's character DJ in his pockets during a scene in the casino. Okay. So get your pause button ready next time you watch. And last news item, Mark Hamill opened the new Gibraltar Skywalk with a lightsaber. So Mark Hamill opened the Skywalk, which is an all-glass lookout point located inside the Rock of Gibraltar Nature Reserve. He was there, and he used his lightsaber to symbolically cut the red ribbon on the transparent platform. Structure is located 340 meters above sea level. From the new platform, visitors could see Africa and Spain and have panoramic views of the Strait of Gibraltar and Campo de Gibraltar. Glass structure is 2.5 meters wide, supported by 30,000 kilograms of steel. The see-through panels are made up of 4 layers of highly resistant glass, blah, blah, blah. And it could sustain the weight of 5 elephants or 11 cars, whereas this gust of wind as strong as 150 kilometers per hour. I don't know if they named it after Skywalker, but I would not be surprised if they did. So that's might be why Mark Hamill opened it up.
That would make sense.
Yeah. And that, my friends, is the news of the week. So once again, thank you for listening to another episode of WSTR Podcast. You can check us out on social media, WSTR Media, all one word, all lowercase. We want to hear from you, so please comment, tweet, rate us on iTunes, or you can email us at wstrpodcast@gmail.com. You can leave us a voicemail at 630-557-WSTR. That's 630-557-9787. And we did get a voicemail from a fan. I don't believe we have his name, but anonymous, thank you for sending in a voicemail. But yeah, you can call in and leave a voicemail of your own, and we will play it on the show. You can catch our entire catalog of episodes at wstrmedia.libsyn.com. That's wstrmedia.libsyn.com. And now you know all the ways to get a hold of us. Next week, we're going to be talking about Star Wars Forces of Destiny Season 2. And before we sign off, thank you very much to my friend Steven, to my friend Solomon for stepping in.
Of course.
Had a little bit of a catastrophe that we couldn't get all the hosts on, but you guys came in clutch and saw it through. So thank you very much for being here.
I'm glad we could help out.
You got it, man.
Yeah,
all right.
Fun.
Now this is podcasting. We did it. We ranked them all and lived to tell the tale.
Barely survived.